just thought I'd post a short video about my batch heater that I built. Here's the ambient temperature at the moment, just under 22 degrees Celsius. And we'll just swing over here, and there's the box that contains my batch heater. I'll just take a walk around. It's basically a large box with a selective solar glazing that I recycled from an old burst solar flat plate collector, and you can't really see through it, but inside that is a 250 litre hot water cylinder. We've got the inlet here, cold water straight off the mains. Down in here is what we call a duo valve. It's very important that any water that's not heated to 60 degrees Celsius is protected from flowing backwards into the drinking water supply. Duo valve comprises an isolation valve, that's it there, and inside there's a check valve so that no water can flow backwards. Because the batch heater doesn't always heat to 60 or higher degrees, there's the potential for bacteria to grow in the water that's contained inside the 250 litre tank. Over here we have the outlet. It's simply piped across along the house there, and that's where it ducts inside to my inside water heater. So what's happening is we're taking the mains cold water from down here, we're taking it through the batch heater in a large box over here. It's heated by the sun and then fed straight in to my inside water heater. I've just put a little valve and an outlet here so that I can measure the temperature. So we'll just do that now. Water in this line hasn't moved this morning, so we'll just run a little bit off to get water to come from the outlet of the tank. Alrighty, here we go. I don't know if you can see that. Not working very well, is it? There, it's not a bad angle. So it's still early in the morning, but we've had an hour or two of sun on the heater, and with outlet temperature 29.3 degrees Celsius. And again, we'll take a look at that ambient temperature, just under 22 degrees. So we'll have another look at that this afternoon and give you an idea of what it does during a day. The aspect of the batch heater, it faces near enough northwest, just because of space constraints along the side of the house here and the chimney. We couldn't get a full duration of sunlight, but the sun rises out over there and tracks across to there, so of a full arc we're getting probably 2/3 of the available sunlight in a day on the collector panel, generally from sunrise until about 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So we'll take another look at the temperature then. Righto, well, as promised, we'll check the temperature. Ambient's just under 24. It's getting on in the afternoon. We've had about 5 hours of sunlight on the batch heater since we last checked the temperature. So we'll have a little look here. Trying to find an angle where we can go. As you can see, it works fairly well. There's been no other draw off of water from the tank since we last checked it. So it's essentially a static test. It's getting a bit too hot to touch that pipe. That's not too bad for 5 hours of sunlight. So there you go. Turn that off. So the tank inside is a mains pressure steel cylinder, glass lined. I painted it black with some stove, like pot belly stove black paint, and I made a cradle out of treated pine. You can sort of see it there, and the thing's sitting up off the ground to keep it dry, and also I can put an additional panel on it as an auxiliary thermosiphon on the front here. When wintertime comes around, we should be able to continue to get some decent work out of it. The shadow's just starting to come across it now. You can see the edge of the shadow there, just starting to creep across. That's the chimney that shadows it. The other things that I did that are worth mentioning, both that tank and the one inside have sacrificial anodes. There we go. That's what remains of the sacrificial anode out of the batch heater 250 litre tank in the box over here. So we took that out, we put a brand new anode in to protect the tank from corrosion. And this one here is a sacrificial anode from the tank inside. So it had maybe a little bit more life in it, but it was wise to replace it at the same time. So I went ahead and did that. Because it's a mains pressure system, there are 2 temperature and pressure relief valves on the system. If we can get that without being too bright. Where are we? This outlet here is 1000 kPa temperature pressure relief valve on the tank inside the box. Water pressure here is about 500 kPa, so that'll relieve if the temperature exceeds 99 degrees or 1000 kPa of pressure. Then we'll go inside. So this is the inside water heater. The old Gulf pipe there is where the cold water used to connect, and the 1/2 inch copper coming through the wall is the new connection. This tank is fitted with a 1400 kPa pressure and temperature relief valve, so it says dual safety. I'm actually a bit concerned that the batch heater might boil come summer when we go away on holidays. What I think we'll do is we'll open up this valve up here. We'll shut off the control tap, the duo valve down here, that can be turned off. This valve here where I take my temperature readings can be left open, and the system will be open vented so that no matter how much energy the sun puts into it, it won't burst a pipe or cause any damage to the internal plumbing. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. Cheerio out. Alright, well, as you can see, it's late afternoon now. The thing's practically fully in the shade, so we'll do one last temperature reading. This is probably important to note. This thing tends to bake in the box. The insulation that I stacked around it plays a big part in how much heat it retains. And this is a good illustration of that. Just get this going. Take it easy on the valve there. And again, we're just waiting for a bit of water to run through. The water in the line, even though the line's insulated, does cool off. The water in the tank tends to hold its temperature fairly well until it's drawn into the inside tank for use. Again, we haven't drawn any water off today, so that we can give you some fairly accurate readings. There you go, so that's made a couple more degrees since last time we checked it. Just turn that off, and the ambient, she's sitting on about 22 degrees now. The temperature of the water going in from the cold water pipe this time of year is about 18 degrees Celsius. So all in all, that's not too shabby.